Welcome, welcome. It's your boy, MarkN MUFC fan, guys, and you know what it is. I'm an MUFC fan every day and all the time, but I'm also a Trini, 100% to the bone. So you know how it is, guys. We got to talk about the latest updates and what's happening with Trinidad and Tobago football. It's getting really interesting, guys. Of course, with this new move, I would say this is a move that backs the Dwight York vision, the vision that Trinidad has been seeing over the last few months, which is a more disciplined brand of football with a little bit of, everything defensive quality, midfield possession, chances going forward, consistently good chances being created by this team. Of course, the quality might be lacking in some areas, but we have just came off of sanctions, no investment, no support, nothing from the government for years and years and years. And now finally the wheels are turning. Of course, we know this has begun with the grandfather law being updated. And of course, right now, this allows Trinidad to pull from a much larger pool of talent than ever before, creating an even larger, what how should I say larger, or should I say an even more difficult or surmountable challenge for competition for places in selection for the Trinidad national team. And of course, shout out to Princeton in the building. Sue, my brother, you know how it is. You know what I mean? And that is exactly what we're trying to say. Because when you say Sue, you already know where that comes from, a generational GOAT of the game of football. And of course, Trinidad, we have our own legends like Dwight York, who's now doing his part as head coach. Once a player, once a majestic player in the Premier League for Manchester United. Of course, that's my team. At the end of the day, we're not doing so well, but times are changing and new eras are forming, and things happen. And when you're in the building blocks, sometimes you lose and sometimes you lose a lot. And it seems to be similar case with Trinidad and Tobago. But what I can tell you is that they have a lot less, not as vast a pool, and maybe not as vast resources as Manchester United to make a quick fix here and just shop and purchase players there and all these different things. But what Trinidad and Tobago does have is natural born talent, raw skill, and athleticism. And of course, with the new developments of the Borussia Dortmund Academy, and of course, the level of football from grassroots will automatically start upgrading. Of course, when other coaches, clubs, and other grassroots representatives start realizing that their best talent will now be being picked off by the Borussia Dortmund Academy, of course, they will be very happy. But of course, they will also have to level up the way they train their talent. And of course, their charges will definitely need to work a little bit harder, be a little bit more focused, be a little bit more geared towards proper nutrition and these sorts of things, because this is where the game is headed now, guys. And of course, as a fan of Trinidad and Tobago football, guys, I have to say what I have to say, and I have to be honest about it. But let's get into the main discussion at hand right now. And of course, you and Tobago sacks former long-standing director of football in Anton Corneal. And I had to say it's a long time coming as well. Now, a lot of people might argue he's very, very qualified, and that he is. Let's talk about, you know, who Anton Corneal is, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He's a former national player. He's represented the country. You know, he was very talented. And of course, he went on to go into the field of coaching and getting himself certified in CONCACAF and all these things. And of course, he then in 2017 became, the director of football in Trinidad and Tobago for a stint, and then he resigned. And as you can see here, guys, as DOF, he's certified coach education and has worked with FIFA as a technical expert. Also, as CONCACAF technical consultant. In December 2024, he completed the first edition of FIFA's Technical Leadership Diploma. Of course, Corneal's association with the technical director role is long-standing. He was first appointed in 2012 and then left in 2014 due to non-payment of salaries, or so it was claimed. He returned in 2017 under a different administration, and then again in 2022 when he replaced Dion Lafoucard. And I would say that, it's one of those things because it's interesting to understand the man. He's a very interesting man, very talented individual, and of course, he had a long-standing tenure at the top of Trinidad football where he directed almost everything. There's a lot of different views and points on what has happened and transpired during that almost 10-year period that he was in charge of Trinidad football. But what we can also say is that there's also some views that he has currently failed in that 10-year period. And some people like me would be looking at it from a perspective where he failed, and I believe that he fell short in lots of situations. Specifically, I would refer to the development of talent. Depending on your analysis styles, it had controversial situations where there were reports that most of the selections came to friends and family and not exactly to the actual deserving talents that really deserved a chance. And it is very disappointing because when you look at these situations, guys, it's one of those things where how can we say this easier or better? You want the best players to have their opportunity to get into the game. Not only that, you want the best talent to make it. It's why they work so hard. And of course, this is a meritocracy. It's not about who you know or what you have. It's your capabilities, your talent, your work ethic, and your ability to succeed and to want to be the best in your position. And of course, guys, I can't say any more when it comes to that because, in all fairness, when you look at the different perspectives, right, there are some people like me who would say he really didn't open up his selection pool or attempt to do so in a variety of styles or look for a variety of types of players that could possibly do something for Trinidad and Tobago. It was always the same network, the same players returning. There was no new. A lot of talents became old because they never got a chance to be selected. When in true and in fact, maybe they might have been more talented or more better suited to the role. And he is one of those players those persons that did not like diaspora players. So there are some rumors that it could be Shaka Hislop replacing him, or even possibly Brian Charles Lara. And guys, some people may not know this, but Brian Charles Lara used to be a footballer. Before he became the great cricketer, he was on a scholarship at Fatima for football. If you know Trinidad sports, you know these things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. 100% Dexter. The men have been basis for years. Basic. You understand? And while he has done a lot of things, we would still have to question certain situations, and not only certain situations, but we have to question the performances of the national teams at major tournaments. Because under his tenure of almost, in total, 17 years, we have not had any success. Our success came when the former coach Leo Hacker and his team of coaches selected individuals. They coached the individuals. They decided who was going to play, and we were successful. And sometimes, guys, it takes a change. And maybe a lot of people would love for it to happen just like that. So would I. But maybe that's not how it is, or not how it's meant to be in this time. Maybe we might have to go through a little bit of heartbreak, or maybe a little longer reign, like the playoffs. Now, I don't want to go into the playoffs because I think it's going to be a difficult playoffs. But what if we go to the playoffs, but we make it through? And then we go on to find we competing in the group stage. We're not just there to participate. Now, guys, when I say this, you know, I say this because
Um, I got issues with the stream.
all
I
right,
got
bro.
issues
Well,
with the stream, bro.
small thing, small thing. Bro. So when you look at this situation, you know, while there have been efforts, TNT hasn't made strong showings in any recent important qualifiers. Some believe that despite a lack of talent, execution, preparation, consistency has lagged. And I might agree with that. But at the same time, I look at guys and I say to you guys, the former TCF president and the former president of the School Secondary Football League had made an announcement to the public years ago. Yeah, about 9 years ago to be exact. And they said that Trinidad is not producing the talent anymore. Funny times, you know. But the problem really is that they were not properly investing in the talent. You know, they were trying to live, live now, you know, in all honesty. They wasn't trying to really do their best to invest in the youth and bring the latest in technology to football in Trinidad and Tobago, the latest in training programs, coaching tactics, coaching programs. These are things that we need. And of course, guys, it's going to be a very long road back to the top. There's no way to fix 10 years in 1 year. And I know a lot of people are disappointed with the current performances or the current tenure of this new TTFA president, but he's just begun. You understand? He's just begun. And he has to deal with all the baggage of a decade of failure and turn that baggage into a positive going forward for the future. So, guys, while I'm saying these things, and while I might be on the happy side, hold on 1 second, please. And while I might be on the happy side of things, there are some people might be disappointed because yes, Anton Corneal has given a lot of chances to a lot of talents, you know, and they would have appreciated those chances. Some of them would have gone on to play in the MLS, play in Europe's various top leagues, you know, and so forth, represented Trinidad to the fullest. So some people might disagree strongly with my opinions and what I'm saying. But what I can tell you all is that in order for Trinidad and Tobago to move forward, we have to be willing to take a chance, to be brave, and also to endure. Because it's not like we can't see that this team is performing. It's not like we can't see that this team is on the verge of going to our next level. But what we can see is that we need a little bit more quality, a little bit more players with a little bit more hunger and desire. Blood, sweat, tears. Red, white, and black. You don't know there's the colors of the land. And this is what it means. Bro, places like Iran go to war, the team just have to perform. 100%. And this is what we're talking about. Iran makes a World Cup. 100% team chaser. And what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, when you watch some of the performances, it's not that the team not having the right tactics, the right formation, and probably the best players that we could have select on the starting lineup. Sometimes the problem is the desire, you know, not enough desire. Sometimes they're not doing enough. They're not hungry. Sometimes that is all it is. And a coach, car coach desire, you gotta have it in you. Look at Man United. We spent about 600 million in the last 2 seasons and we still finished 15th. And this season, start off and looking good. So sometimes it's not about money and buying the so-called best. Sometimes it's boiled down to the desire that individual have to find the back of that net. Because there were many moments in the Jamaica game where Dante Sealy watching the goalkeeper within 6 feet of him, the ball on the ground, and he not making an attempt. So for me, I'm one of those guys that, yeah, I look at those things and I say, well, that's why you're in the MLS and not in the European top flight. Because a European top flight attacker will get to that ball. One of them times he'll get to it. Because unless the keeper pick up the ball, it in play. So it's not like the MLS where when the ball at the keeper feet, you can't tackle him. This is international football. And of course, we need a better Sealy, a better CB as well as Sonson is saying. Who we have better than Sealy? You'll see. If you all only know some of the talents that are ready to come play for Trinidad, guys, Sealy's not Mbappe, he's not a striker. He's playing right wing back for Trinidad and Tobago. He has to defend. He has to press. Even our striker, Levi Garcia, does press, bro. And he wasn't pressing enough in the game. I'm being honest, bro. And I'll be a little bit more critical because it's my country. And I want these guys to be best. Because it's already difficult to make it coming from the Caribbean. Most of our pro league players might have to still work a second job. You understand? Brent Brothers playing amateur, they could live off that money in Europe, and okay. Some of them do how to work. So it's a different kind of style. If you look at the formation, son, he is playing right wing back. That's just me. If you don't believe me, watch him. He'll be down in the defense, defending, and even self, bro. You gotta get to that. If you within 6 feet of the keeper and the ball at his foot not under his control, there's no excuse for that, bro. You understand? There's no excuse. The European strikers was tackling. I'm telling you 100%. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you again. But what I can tell you is this, son. I think he have the time and he have the age. He can still level up. He can still level up. You understand? So give him time. Nah, killer, calm down. Calm down. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure you saw him playing with Cardenas this week when they won. I mean, my boy Marcus, he had a little thing showing how Rio is back, and in the game, have another Trini playing right midfield. Check it out. There's another young Trinidad striker called Hackford. He will be coming down. There's some other players, a few of them that I've heard about. I can't call names, Sean, in this current moment, but as soon as I'm able to, I will call names. I would love to, yeah, because I want everyone to be excited as I am, Sean. I think there's room for drastic improvement. I think the next round of international qualifiers, you will see a better performance. And I'm pretty sure you will see a better midfielder than Yates coming into the team. That much I could tell you. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but we will see the return of Dante. You know who Dante it is? You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. There's lots of talents coming into this team, and we need to be patient. Shout out to RR up top to the Jamaicans. You know what I mean? Shout out to the reggae boys. You all did your thing, you all thumped us up. We deserve that for not putting you all to bed in the first half, bro. You know what I mean? That's how it's go. Yes, RR. Ready. It's locked, it's loaded, and it's blasted out of the chamber, bro. It's time to go. It's on. And of course, like I told everybody 2 weeks ago, they already had a list. And I told them to be calm. So give it some time. The list is going to come out there. They're just making sure they have all the confirmations because they don't want to go too big and then be disappointed. To be honest, that player who wasn't able to make it, pain, that really hurt us. That young guy would have been very, very interesting. Yeah, I know, Sean. And he will be interesting into the team. I think that Dante Gilbert provides a much, much, much better midfield performance than some of the players we have. You know what I mean? I think Khan will be receiving a call up as well. I think there's going to be another 35-man provisional squad be called up, maybe even larger, a larger contingent. So we will see some changes. And Darren Payne should be fit and available. And there will be a few interesting other talents coming in. I heard that there's a young goalkeeping sensation. I can't say he's he's being monitored by a lot of German clubs. Shout out, shout out, shout out to Brush in the building. Well, bro, any change right now is definitely to me a positive change because we've had same old for decades. A decade, bro. And it wasn't working. So, you know what I mean? Change is good. And of course, we just opened up, the pool of talent that we could source from now to international players who born in different countries that have a grandparent from Trinidad and Tobago. So that makes it very interesting. No, I know we don't need a goalkeeper, but I still do think Denzel Smith needs you know, a little bit of competition. So he's been called up to the next window, so he should be there. So regardless, son, yes, of course, we need players who ready, son, but there are certain young individuals that they are ready. And yes, Jim Chase, I do agree with you. I think Ryan Telfer should be starting. I think he doesn't work well as a substitute, never has, always better as a starter. And of course, I think, he has the mentality. He's more direct and he's a little bit more physical and he would provide that link up well, to be honest, with Levi, in my honest opinion. I think he will be a better starting link up with Levi. Just me. I mean, Telfer not better. I don't know what you mean by better than Sealy or Spicer, but he's certainly more physical than Sealy. And he certainly have a stronger mentality than them both, in my honest opinion. You know what I mean? These guys play in the MLS, they are good. Yeah, I mean, that is true. But sometimes you don't need a player to score a goal, bro. You need a player to provide a goal. Wingers supposed to provide goals as primary objective one. Two is if you can't, try to score yourself. But the main objective is to feed your striker. And when you play with a striker, wingers have to be creative. They have to get that ball into the box, onto the striker head, his chest, or his foot. And guys, trust. I could tell you this because this is what's win games, goals. You could have a good defense, you could have a boss midfield, but if you don't have a team creating team goals and lots of chances for a striker, you're not going to score. Well, I mean, MLS ain't really better than the Pro League, King. It have more money invested in it, but yeah, no one watches that, bro. It's really hyped and it's free on Apple if you have Apple TV or if you have an Apple product. It's free to watch. I just saying, it's free on Amazon as well. I mean, I not go and sit down to watch. MLS anytime soon is shit. It's a shit watch, bro. Yeah, the rules kind of weird. The goalkeepers don't save, and the defenders real shit. And to be honest, bro, to be honest, another big blow was Ajani, which Ajani getting injured. I would agree with that. Bro, I never, brother, never one point in my life I would ever say the MLS was ever interesting. It never was, never will be. And it should never be a goal for any young talent, top young talent in Trinidad to be aiming to play. Their aim should always be to get to Europe. Because Europe doesn't scout from the MLS, bro. 5 or 15 to 1 is the scouting from Caribbean talent to North American talent, king, to the Premier League to this day. And I'm not saying that only because of Ronaldo, but let me be real, guys. If you want to be the best, you have to go to Mecca. You have to go to the heartland where all the competition is, bro. And all the competition is in Europe. You know what I mean? You could go to Spain, France, Belgium. You could go to Germany. You could go to Italy, Denmark. Guys, take your pick. You could go to the Netherlands and all. Bro, the quality of players we had done is not high level of today. But if you think a perfect talented coach, go back into history and go and do the comparison. Yeah, they do scouting in South American talent in the MLS. True, but broski, they ain't getting the best. Let me be real. How much years he spent in the MLS before you reached the Villarreal king? T. John Buchanan. Tell me. Because he was also in the Dutch league for like 3 or 4 years. So, like, I could name you about 10 other players, bro, who do the same thing. You know what I mean? The same thing happened to the one everybody just talk about who playing for Milan right now. Pulisic. The same thing happened to Robinson. This next one who was at Barcelona, who in the Holland, Sergio Dest. I mean, what I'm saying to you guys is there are options. A lot of people don't know you can get scholarships to certain high level academies in Europe, just like you're applying for scholarships in the USA, you know, broski. Tejan, yeah, I could tell you about this guy. He used to play for PSV at a point in time in the Dutch league for a while too. So don't feel like, you know what I mean? I just watch a lot of football, bro. I know all these players. I follow them because it's always be interesting to me to know your competition and know what you offering as well. And like you say, like Dexter said, it's all about the manager, and we can see the manager have a very good system that is working for the most part. What we need is some clinical finishers. And we need a little bit more competition with quality for the attacking positions up front. Because while I would say Spicer is probably one of our best players in the team week in, week out, if he had someone that he know could possibly come off the bench and challenge him because he's not taking any notice of Aubrey. Aubrey is not good. He come on and waste, waste, man. Brother, let me tell you, if you don't do your research, right? We, as a Caribbean nation, have one of the highest representations in the European football, bro. Specifically and centered around English football. Yeah. It have bigger countries that don't have they're not rated. The talent is not rated on the level of Trinidadians when they go to Europe, my king. Yeah, I just want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not getting you no jokes, I'm telling you facts. When you go to Europe Academy as a Trinidadian youth man, you have people like Dwight York and Russell Latapi and Stern John, Kenwin Jones self, Silvio Spanner, and other top talents who went there and did great things. Yeah? What America have, bro? Pulisic. Brother, them in are not thinking. They are no legends of the Premier League, king. Trinidad have three. Shaka Hislop as a goalkeeper, Stern John as a striker, and Dwight York also as a striker. Three legends of the Prem. And brother, you might be saying that's more than a decade ago, but we still have legends of the Premier League. And the Premier League was yeah. But America don't have none. And there's 384 million strong, and we just 1.8 million strong, king. Talk to me. Talk to me now. Brother, I'm not saying we talent too good for the MLS, but I'm telling you, we are better suited to playing in Europe. Brother, you is a madman. But anyway, I ain't going to go on with to that one with you. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys, yeah, is that there's a lot of possibilities. And while there are, we have a history, and football is about heritage, bro. A lot of man them feel football is about new school. Yeah, but you can't even do that, bro. Otis Whitley levels are better than Tyree Spicer, bro. Otis Whitley? Them men don't know who Otis is in King. Otis Whitley. Deal with Michael Owen and them, boy. Boy. Otis Whitley had some of the best players in the Prem in England midfield at sixes and sevens, you know. He had the defenders on the ground, bro. Don't get tied up with Otis Whitley at all, King. Never, ever. Kenwin Jones, but he's a shit on compared to Otis Whitley, bro. He was lucky that big Sam wanted a big, strong striker, King. He have a very good shot on him, but bro, he had the ball control of a truck. And he's turned like a truck too. I shock he scored 26 goals a season and then score 15, then score 17. I was shocking. I been real. But as soon as he grew them dreadlocks, bro, his decline was on. It was faster than a food chain. Because brother, in 3 months, he went to the championship. From the championship to League One, then straight to Atlanta FC in the MLS, bro. Never to return. You understand? Don't get it twisted, bro. Yeah? It had nothing to do with nostalgia, bro. But you have to understand where you come from to see where you need to go, which direction we need to go. Because let me tell you something, we're not coming from the same starting point as the USA. Them lower, bro. Their level of football is at a lower level. You understand? We have not had a effective number nine, Ricky. That is true. But at all, how much goals, bro? Kenwin Jones was walking through World Cup qualifiers, not packed stadiums in Port of Spain, King. I was live in the stadium watching his brother walk under Stephen Hart from minute 7, and he was captain. In the same game, they robbed Joven Jones a goal. The Jamaican referee robbed Joven Jones a goal that he scored. That would have qualified Trinidad for the World Cup. Because we'd have win that game 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1 or something. So instead of drawing 1-1, right? And we'd have qualified for the World Cup. And when they robbed him, Kenwin Jones never even tried to talk to the ref. Bro, he's a waste man, King. He's a waste man. Yeah? He used to play defense at St. Anthony's, bro. He was never a striker. He was defender at St. Anthony's. That's where he spent his career learning football under Nigel Groves now. As a defender, king. You understand? And yeah, bro, he might have been good. He was good because he went and he was playing for Sunderland in the Prem and scoring goals. So as a striker, he was doing his job in them moments. But let's not act like if you carry Trinidad to no World Cup king because St. John scored more goals than he, bro. What you talking about, bro? Well, they ain't really see real strikers yet, and that's why all them men is watch these men. It know it, bro. This last 10 years of football had the shittest strikers I see in my life. All over, not just Trinidad. Haaland is joke. Compared to strikers like Pauletta and them, Haaland is shit, boy. He could only be generational among the current crop of strikers because it didn't really have nobody. But when it had men like David Villa and Pauletta and them kind of man, them, but you're not even looking at Haaland, bro. He can't even start in front of these guys. David Trezeguet and these bad boys. Bro, real bad boy strikers. Brother, before let's see some real bad boy. St. John was a real bad boy striker. Man, them don't know, you know. Man, them St. John, don't give him nothing on the volley. King is back at the net. Brother, he was the beginning of the decline because he was not at Stern level at no time. He didn't have ball control. He couldn't head like Stern. He didn't have a shooting ability like Stern. He couldn't finish like Stern. He was decent. Good, solid. Solid is before good. Good is better than solid. Decent is equivalent of okay, broski. You understand? I telling you. I watching Trinidad since 19 national team since 92, and yes, the strikers now have less skill than before. 100%, bro. Stern John was a little fella king. Don't get tapped. And watch me, let me tell you something, bro. Phillips, I wish he had a little bit about 2 steps, 2 yards more pace, king. If Phillips had 2 yards more pace, he would be lethal. I remember I used to go in the Oval as a youth man to watch Trinidad national games. Yeah. And when Russell Latapy pick up a that ball, bro, and turn a man here so and step, he gone. And when he catch it next to man is heat. And he looking to feeding Sylvia or feeding Dwight York or feeding Stern. Bro, listen, yeah. We used to be playing some elite football. Men think the SSFL them watching now how ballers, them men don't play football in SSFL, king. Then they try to, but you can tell them fellas don't sit down and watch football every weekend. 3, 4 games a weekend. Because if they used to, they would look it. They would look the level of football. Because if all the men doubt it, long time. When you watch Trinidad SSFL, bro, it's not the level of international football, but looking like an international football game. You understand? Men moving the clock, men moving the ball, how men dribbling, how men passing, how men, they maintaining shape. You don't see them things. We gotta get to that level where we was. We regressed majorly for the last 15 years. So when a lot of people talk about Trinidad football and talents, no one thing, bro. Them brothers would be average if we was at the level where we should have be at growing 15 years post going to we first World Cup. There again, we wasn't able to get the support from the governance that we needed and all these things. It wasn't the best. Bruh, them ain't know about that, bro. When Signal Hill come to Trinidad, or you seen a Sando face Fatima or QRC or CIC in the Oval, brother, brother. Them time in SSFL was SSFL. Now SSFL is joke. Leon Bailey's a top talent, but I don't know how Jamaicans just stomach this brother disrespecting Jamaica football so much. He's disrespect Jamaica just because he playing for a club with real money and he find Jamaica should give him the same roll out a red carpet like Aston Villa. No FA in the Caribbean can afford to do them thing, bro. I take that personally as well. Bonhi. But back to the topic. Guys, a lot of you guys in here, what are your thoughts on the sacking of none other than Anton Corneal? How do you think Trinidad football is going to move forward from now? Of course, there are rumors and reports that there are possibilities. It could be Dwight York. I mean, Brian Lara coming in to take over the job. Or it could be possibly Shaka Hislop. Or there might be a wild card in store. What are your thoughts? I mean, not, the modern football has changed, Ricky, and I agree, but it's changed for the shitter. Like, when last have you seen bangers consistently? You know what I mean? Bangers. You know, things that used to get you off your feet screaming, like, did you see that fucking goal, boy? Yeah? Nah. Man City, they score a set of cutbacks, King. It's like they score a goal today, just now. Hit record. They score a goal last week. Just play replay, bro. You see the goal already. You ain't miss nothing new. You understand? And if that is the idea of football what men saying they love, brother, you don't know what a beautiful game is or you're missing it. I don't know. I'm not saying you are, but yeah, bro. I do not care about Arvin. Put any great product on the table. 100%. 100% King. Yamal goal versus Espanyol. It didn't look as good as Rashford goal against Newcastle last night, King. For Barca. You see that bangers, bro? Killer. Man level on it, you know. Haji 1994 for you younger people, look at the World Cup football at the best. That man never see a man land from a plane, walk straight into the World Cup stadium after getting a pardon, yeah, and score a hat trick second half. Tell me. Well, you see, I think you need to understand. It's a long time coming. This brother deserves to get a sacking. He is the reason Trinidad football in the state it is. This guy here. He had real qualifications and thing, brother. But he love friends and family. If he is not friend or family or you know somebody, you can't get on the national team because he not selecting your king. So when you're complaining on all your streams about the selections and why we not looking here, when you're complaining, Marcus, about, these guys, they not look when they started the National Pro League quite in November. This is the director of football in Trinidad. Is he make them decisions, King? He make them decisions. This guy, Anton Corneal, and he been making them decisions since 2012. That is how strong he influences on Trinidad football. And let me tell you something, brother. He never once get a team to qualify for the World Cup. That is failure, King, over a decade. It's 2025, King, I telling you. Yeah. Yeah? You're complaining the league started in January. That is his fault. It's not the TTFA president who just get hired. He was the director of football while the next TTFA president was president, brother. You understand? The same one who said to build a hotel. Well, we don't talk about that. That wasn't he, King. That was not he. That was preparation from when Leo Hatter had one of his young coaches coaching the under 20s and the under 17s. That was never this guy. Bro, this is the guy running Trinidad football for the last 15 or 20 years, King. 15 years. Let me say 15 years. This guy. So all the problems, this guy. Because he there for 13, 14 years longer than the new TTFA president. So who know everything? Who who have a hand in everything going on? This guy. And bro, it's not like I hate this guy, you know. But what I'm telling you all is that he may have a good intention, but at somewhere down the line, it swerve. It's not his fault. Like, it's shit happens. But yeah, guys, we will go forward. We will rise. Trust what I'm telling you guys. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes it's had to take a chance. It's had to, and you know, you said earlier there, football modernizing. You know what I'm saying? Football modernizing. Maybe a young person who probably went and get the qualifications because they have a lot of these things online. You know, Barca Innovation giving courses. It are courses at Real Madrid, courses at Manchester United, are courses at five different. Borussia Dortmund is offer courses. So, guys, Borussia Dortmund Academy offer all sorts of various coaching courses, data analyst courses. So, if you want to learn how to scout players based on data, you could apply for these things. It's literally about 36 months course. It's about 8,000 Trini King. But guess what? You could come now and work for the TTFA as a lead scout because you know what you're doing. And guess what? They certify you in a country of your choice. If you could go to the UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, and you get your certification there. So it's interesting. I mean, I don't mind if it was his slop. You know, he's a guy well knowledgeable. He's well known, well around the football world. Has his hands in quite a lot of things. He's always doing things to bring up Trinidad and Tobago in some way, shape, or form. He's a kind of guy that loves his country, and he knows what it takes to play at the top level. And of course, if he put his hand in this hat, he will be open to some serious criticisms, and you see how he's be criticizing teams and the coaches. He will receive criticisms of Trinidad not doing well live on that stream as well. And this is what I'm saying, Dexter. Qualification for the World Cup doesn't define quality and good value of the game. But what I can tell you, Dexter, is that if we don't qualify at least once in 4 attempts, you fail. Simple as that. Let me be real. 3 strikes and you're out. 3 strikes is 12 years. You had enough time. You tried 3 times and you failed 3 times. You're not going to be successful at fourth, bro. Like, we need to stop this. Like, this is not try until you fail. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to realize this is not for you. This is sports, bro. It's a meritocracy. It's not about how you feel. It's about the best of the best. And while I would love my family member to represent Trinidad, if he's not good enough, I will accept that. Because at the end of the day, I want to see Trinidad win as well, bro. I'm being honest with you guys and straight up and real. 100%. You understand? And we have to be honest with ourselves. I'm not even giving Shaka too much credit, bro. Bro. Anyway, anyway. I know plenty men who don't do as much for Trinidad and Tobago. You mentioned one of them and talk about he a solid striker earlier. And that is a certain man who I know for a fact that used to have some small clubs training in King George. And he used the abilities to get rid of them men, them, so he could get the part to coach. But you know, we go complain about Shaka and these men. Of course, RR. I think a lot of these guys could do more because you know my dream, yeah, bro. I will tell you guys this. My dream when I realized you know I go and live in Europe and I wanted to do some football courses because I feel like when I meet people, you know, get good interactions with people and stuff like that. And I was thinking maybe somehow I might meet someone, I might convince them to open an academy in Trinidad and bring some youths to Germany or to Europe in general. You know, provide an outlet for somebody talented youth to get to Europe. So we don't have to be pushing them to the United States to die in the MLS. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, Borussia Dortmund decided to build an academy in Trinidad. After 2 years of market research, they decided that Trinidad have the strongest candidacy for raw talent and pure ability that they can mold into European level talents. And I was so happy because for me, that is a major step forward for Trinidad football without even stepping forward themselves. And of course, it will take some time. But the next step is for guys, everyone, each and every one of you, you all have kids and stuff like that, and you all want them to play football or they love football. We need to make sure that these coaches get the relevant certifications and keep updating and upgrading their certifications because the more they learn, the more capable they are of developing your child or your relative into a top talent that will be scouted. I know lots of youths in Trinidad and Tobago who at Manchester Academy, Chelsea Academy, Dortmund Academy, Bayern Academy, Juventus Academy, Chelsea. Guys, don't think for a second it's only 5, 10 Trinidadians out there, it's hundreds, Just so you all know, Because I'm pretty sure there's at least 50 youths under 15 at top clubs in Europe right now, academies. And that is just from scouting over the last 18 months or less. It's a treasure trove. The Caribbean is a treasure trove for a lot of clubs because there are a lot of talent. But the problem is our coaches don't refine the talent well. They know how to pick talent, they know how to get the best out of talent, but they don't really have they don't really get some of the coaches don't get them with the right basics. Yeah. Brother, you hire a whole detective agency working here, be popping up all sorts of names, bro. You don't need my little list. But I will be dropping a list pretty soon. You know what I mean? I had to ask some questions and I have to, confirm. But yeah, I will be dropping a list of a lot of talents that will be soon available to Trinidad and Tobago, including JJ Gabriel, who you talked about. And I am a Man United fan, and you was the one who tell me about JJ Gabriel King. Shout out to you, Marcus. Shout outs to you. You know what I mean? Because I would have never know JJ Gabriel because I know it have some twins who are who was named in the under 21 list that you see up on my stream that I had last week. And those twins, they used to live, I would say, a stone throws away from St. Anthony's College. But they're at Manchester United Academy now and they've been named the official under 21 team at 16 because that's how old they are right now currently. They've been there for the last 4 years, I can tell you. I went on the same flight that they went on, so I can tell you. But at the same time, it will get interesting. And of course, guys, there's lots of talent. Like my brethren living in Berlin. Yeah, it have a Man United fan group in Berlin with only Trinis. About 30 families. Yeah? I don't want to say no more. Yeah? I don't want to say no more. But what I could tell you all is there is talent out there. Lots of it. And now that this has been opened up to our diaspora, thankfully the parliament saw the light, the true and the way. And I had to tell my brethren hands, the veins. I just pong you plenty. But you deserve it, bro. Yeah. You have a long road to go if you think you're going to clean up that party, though. But, what I mean? I wish you the best. I'm glad all put all your hand in passing this law because I don't know if it's because I was ponging you for the last month about it. But shout outs to you. I would say that. But at the same time, guys, being real, fully real, we need to be a little bit patient. We need to find more solutions. We need to find ways we could help, you understand? Help the TTFA, help the PFL, help Borussia Dortmund, and help them form a symbiosis. Because the only way to move Trinidad forward is to move in one direction. And everybody who love football, you have kids, family, friends playing in football, all these things. We need to do this for the greater good. You know what I mean? The next, your neighbor, your friend, might even be your daughter, might end up at Dortmund Academy. But at the same time, you need to give them the stepping stones. And for that, SSFL coaches, second division coaches, they need to be at a level. They need to have certifications as well. They need to be putting their charges, these young talents, through the proper training regimens, through the same level of training that is happening at academies. And there is no excuse for them not being able to give them that same level of training. Because at the end of the day, if they can't do that, then why they coaching? It's not about the money in all situations, guys. There are ways and means to get the same effect for less. You can't buy those fancy cones. You could buy those floating stuff, which much cheaper, and just tape it to a broomstick. You know what I mean? Stick it in the ground. You need to be creative. You know what I'm saying? There are no I know this princehood, and this is what I'm saying. And I've been saying this not to just to you guys, but to anyone that I know who might be able to affect some change. You know? And I think they're listening. And I think these things are in the works where coaches are going to be required to have CONCACAF level 1 certification to coach in SSFL very soon. And hopefully that transcends. And maybe you might have to have at least CONCACAF level 2 to be a PFL coach. And they can't just say, I go and coach this team anymore. You have to come with the right training methods, the proper nutrition recommendation, and all these PFL clubs, they need to start having proper nutritionists on staff. All these SSFL clubs and schools and talents, they need to be starting to regiment proper nutrition and monitor the sugar intake and all these snacks that these children eating because they can't be doing that and wanting to go Premier League king. You can't do that. You can't eat lots of fried food and KFC if you want to go and play Premier League. And if you want to make it to Europe for your first for you know what I mean from now until you turn 18, whenever that is, you can't eat no KFC and fried thing and sweets and confectionery. You gotta eat fruits. You know what I'm saying? Drink lots of water and these things. Yeah, well, there are going to be some cons for the local players, broski. But you understand, you know, and I want to say this, and I don't want to sound disrespectful to the local players. I rate a lot of these local talents, yeah. I have some close ties to some of these local talents. And I would say that they need to step their levels up, not just because they're playing in Trinidad, means they can't be pushing their limits. Everyone has to push their limits. If you want to play for the national team, you have to get yourself training at the same level as them brothers and it have an internet now. So you could Google all the training methods and regimens that some of these top professionals just do and mimic it. And I'm pretty sure it's our hype men and brethrens and friends. Get them to help you with your training sessions and record you. And all of you guys, little videos. If you'll record these kids and these young talents in and around you guys doing training drills and playing matches and send these little clips to international football clubs and scouting agencies, your child could get scouted just based on clips and videos. It's very easy to do that nowadays. And they will have you there for a 6-week trial. And if he's really a talent, they will keep them. I just telling you guys because a lot of people don't know these things. The most important thing is capturing your training drills and in-game moments. For in-game moments, you need at least 3 clips of 8 minutes so that they could have you know, perspective on different teams that you played against in different moments. And training drills, of course, it will show timing and your speed and all these sorts of things and how focused you are, how good your control is, how good your touches are, your shooting ability, and all these sorts of things. Local players have no excuses, guys. Listen to me. It's you have to remember when it have clean, clear footage, but that easy, man. Them have iPhone nowadays, bro. Everybody have a phone, and bro, and if you do, if you need to get it cleared up, there's apps for that, free apps. You know what I mean? And if you really need help, you could use a Google phone. I hear the Google phone are the best camera. So, or you could use our Huawei. Huawei's are pretty good as well. So, you know what I mean? If you get clean footage, yeah, and you get in trouble. I'm pretty sure Hearts of the Warriors will help you guys out. Or if not, you can shout me out. You know, my email is in the description. I'll try my best to see if I can help you all edit it and stuff. You know what I mean? It's always nice to, you know what I mean, to help a young talent get to, try to get to where they're going. It's always that kind of thing. For years, nearly the whole team local. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that princehood. And we're not against that princehood. But at the end of the day, man, them had to lift the levels. You can't just maintain the levels of last year, King. That's not football. That's not sport. When you talk men like Jerry Richards living in and breeding in Trinidad and Tobago, and you talk men like Keyshawn Walcott. Shout out to Keyshawn Walcott. You know what I mean? What excuse does these footballers have when their sports more funded than their sports? Think about what I'm telling you. These brothers just get more funding than Keyshawn on them. Have more people invested in football than Keyshawn on them. You understand? But Keyshawn and them bringing home gold and thing though. Bruh, listen. Stop making excuses for these guys, bro. If they ain't good enough, that'll hold a bench. And if they can't make the bench, that'll watch on TV, bro. Who cares? The end of the day is like their fault. Because they never put themselves in a position to level up. We are fans, and we deserve to watch the best talents play for Trinidad and Tobago, whoever they may be. You understand? We deserve to be well represented at the World Cup, King. We used to be having 300 athletes at World Cup. Sydney Olympics. We had 200 athletes in the 15 years that follow. We contingents probably have 60 people now, at most. That is deterioration. And that's just how football deteriorated. Exactly. What's the man? I like Joven Jones and Alvin and certain man them. But but you want to know something? Want to know something, Marcus? Is the former president who caused that? He disrespectful bad. They hired this coach, and he tell the coach in front of national television if he don't win the next 2 games, he's fired. And he asked him if he clear on that live in front of everybody. Because he trying to pull a ranking thing now. And then when the man he pre-season, he training session to prepare for the game. He called Joven to come online. Because remember, Joven used to play for he club. Certain men used to play for he club, so they go on to line. And he go cover for them. This is the kind of madness we had to deal with. Not anymore, brother. Yeah? And we don't care. You could be real talented, bro, like Joven and them. But if that is way on, better you go and party, King. Leave the football to the men who want to play football. Yeah? Thanks for your time, but move on. We good, we good. Exactly, chorus. Man, them stop being so attached to these brothers. Look at Rio. Rio, born a foreign. He gone through all kind of drama. This law help he. I so glad for Rio Because Rio, if he had trained, they can't even be Trini. But now they could be. And he just come here to sit on the bench or to take whatever minutes he get and play. He best. And he just look like he's give he all week in, week out. And you could see from game one to this after this amount of games he played now, he level up. And you can see he constantly trying to level up. Yeah. These is the brothers you want. Men them who mentalities I want to win no matter what. Not this, yeah, well, they give me something, so I go win for you know. I can't just come and win for you know, then give me nothing. Well, then don't come, boy. Because when you gain 300K a week, 50,000 pounds a week, what money Trinidad could give you to really move you, King? Think about it. 50,000 pounds is 500,000 TT a week. What money you could get a man to move that man, King? Yeah. So if you want to represent our nation, and guys, and when I say these things, is because when you look at top nations, France, Thierry Henry and these men is tired talk about these things. Thierry Henry never collect a check from France. The checks used to go to the first academy you ever kick football at. You understand? So lots of talents all over Italy, France, Spain, England, players just give away them checks because guess what? They gain money from the club they're playing for. They don't want that. They give it to the little grassroots club that they start playing football at to level up. So the next generation could be better and have better opportunities than them. But in Trinidad, plenty men don't do them thing. Exactly, Ricky. Ricky. And honestly, yeah, this is the mentality you want to spread throughout the team and spread throughout Trinidad when it comes to playing football. I want to be the best, and I need to work hard to be the best. And until I reach to the Prem and I win a Premier League, I ain't going to stop working hard. Some of these men, when they win a SSFL title, you can't talk to them. Them is SSFL champions, boy. You know who's me? I just bag a trick, boy, for book my latches. You know what I'm saying? Boy, some of these men, they score 2 goals for Trinidad and they feel like they're done. They're chief football. They didn't even reach the Prem, bro. Man, them scoring 10, 15 goals in MLS and coming here like if they do something. But nobody never see that, King. They watch it in highlights. Maybe in a YouTube reel. But they didn't never see it live, King. Because nobody don't watch nobody don't watch MLS. Nobody in here can tell me week in, week out there's tuning to MLS every weekend, King. Yeah, madness. I don't believe that. When it's a Serie A, Bundesliga, Premier League, Portuguese Liga, La Liga, it's a Eredivisie, man, them say not to watch MLS. Jesus Christ. But I better you go and watch PFL, boy. Talk about how these fellas bring in a new mentality to Trinidad. Fellas like Alvin score 1 goal on his whole career. Front of the class, boy, Josh, boy. Front of the class. Front of the class, broski. Killer. The man score a goal just enough, I love bands. Trinis love bands, boy, and that's why he become a cult hero. Because we knock America out of the World Cup qualifying to Russia. Hold that. Bitches. You know what I mean? Brother, listen, King, let me tell you something, bro. Ask Johan C, boy. Ask Julius, James, and these men, them, boy. Them men go tell you, boy. That is a black hole. You don't come out of it, get stuck and stay down in there. And the rules that they change into MLS is almost non-contact, you know, bro. I don't know if you know, but it's almost a non-contact sport in MLS right now, you know. Go and check the rules, bro. The rules different from FIFA World rules. So when the men playing in MLS and then they come to play against the world, They're not at that physical level, King. They're nowhere near it. That's why England and Europe, they don't really buy players from the MLS. Go and check these statistics, bro. The Caribbean is about 55 players will go from the Caribbean before they buy one from America, King, or of Caribbean descent. Because why? Heritage. Shout out to you, Ricky. Shout out to you, Roski. Shout out to you. I don't. Yeah, I'm not being real. I being real. I started watching some of the games because I like in Spicer vibes and I want to see what Silly can do and a Johnny Fortune. But bro, it's like watching Man United Academy play, King. I'm not lying to you all. When I watch the MLS, it's like watching the under 21s of the Premier League play against each other in the Premier League too. And I was watching Premier League 2 weekly because I started, talk about Man United under 21s, the under 18s, the under 16s, and I started watching games. So, yeah. But it's just like that, bro. And I'm not pulling no gimmicks, bro. Them brothers getting paid healthy salaries, but that's the level of football they're playing, bro, because it's in nowhere near European physicality, bro. Nowhere near it. Yeah, there are lots of very good Central American players, but the best is stay in Central and South America. I just telling you. Look where Franco Matsuatano was in River Plate. He didn't go to the MLS King. They couldn't call he. They couldn't call he. Franco Matsuatano tells certain clubs, boy, I'm not coming to you, boy. And look where he playing now. He's starting for Real Madrid. You gotta know your worth out here too, people. You can't go to MLS like you hungry, Them need you to upgrade their league. Their quality not good. Your level is European level, King. Like where the football come from. Andrew Ampasad, he go and get replaced for the next game. Don't worry yourself. I being real, bro. I don't listen to me. Let me tell you something, bro. Since I was a youth man, the thought of going to play football in USA is like, yeah, I have no more hope of going to Europe nowhere. Well, I'll go there. What? Ronaldo playing in Saudi, King. What fuck you talking about, boy? Ah! A man scoring a tricycle. That you calling me good? Honduras, Costa Rica plays it. Boy, miss me with that now, bro. Eh, you know who's the star player for Honduras? You know what team he playing for? Boy, he playing for Burnley, boy. Costa Rica, two big players. You know they're playing in Portugal. I can name real players. I can tell you, bro. Yeah, watch me. Enough Valencia. You know where he playing? Spain. He was playing in England for a point as well. Man running down money. We know what the player does do. Of course, we can run down money, but not with certain man there. Big up Mark TTD football has no peace. We have peace now, bro. This guy is going. It's the end of the dictatorship and in with the new world order. Football is the first order now, not friends. The ideology of scholarships in the thoughts of Trinidadians coaches needs to end as well. No, but listen, yeah. When I done by the end of this year, these brothers go upgrade the scholarships to all the international academies in Europe because they go realize I owe them now. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these, I don't know if you know, guys, but a lot of these schools and stuff might get a little bit of something from these American school colleges for sending their best players to them. Just saying. But it's not. It doesn't really work like that. But what happens with the European academies and elite academies and things? What they do is they start scouting from these schools. So it's a give and take. You know what I mean? So I will keep doing streams and next week Friday, guys, I will come and I will present in the last 10 minutes of that stream 4 academies, and I will do it country by country so that we'll have a little bit of a more standardized situation. And I will do England next week Friday, and I'll talk about a lot of different academies and opportunities that it have there, and so forth and so forth. Exactly, bro. If he want to play in MLS, he go on Saudi, where ballers playing. Saudi teams is pop American teams, and the American league is 15 years older than the Saudi league. So tell me how good they really is. Risky. Corneal, but Corneal is the reason why Derek King had all them problems he dealing with. All the problems that we facing in Trinidad football come from the guy who was running the show for the last 12 years, 12, 13 years. This guy, that guy. Don't blame other people for this guy mistakes, bro. Don't get caught up in the injustice. Let this guy suffer for what he has done to Trinidad football. He started off with good intention, but it didn't end up that way. And sometimes this is how it go. Life has happened, guys. You know what I mean? He's not a bad person, but shit happens. I lived in Europe many years, bro. I understand your loyalty, but your opinion on MLS is not objective. But Ricky, yeah, tell me when our MLS team go beat a European team, the best MLS team don't even beat the worst European team. Wrexham wrecked LA Galaxy, bro, and Wrexham in the championship king. Yeah, I just said. At the end of the day, bro, I understand that it might be enjoyable to watch MLS for some people, but the where they playing, where, bro, where, bro, Richardson at Fulham. I can't name another American right now in the Prem. I really can't. I know they have Christian Pulisic in Italy. I can't really name another American in Italy. I can't. But I could tell you this: it had 3 Trinis at Crystal Palace alone. At Crystal Palace alone, at 3. Swansea have our next one. That next one at Wimbledon. I done 5 Trinis, bro. And we could only call one American we know. Bro, it ain't easy. When Marcus ready, bro, when Marcus have time, he go let me know. We go do our thing. Big up the haircut bent in the building from Jamaica. Shout out to you, bro. Can you explain quick what Corneal did? I would like to know. Well, for the last 12 years, he was on and off for a stint from 2012 to 2014. That was his initial stint as director of football. And then again from 2017 all the way till present, where he took over from Dion Lafoucade. And he was the head of football in Trinidad and Tobago consistently for that period of time, where Trinidad and Tobago has not qualified for any major tournaments or performances, has not been much to the delight of. And for all the experience, there has not been much to show. There have not been a connection with the youth talent, promoting them on to the senior level and having success. So, yeah. So it's one of those things, bro. Yeah, you didn't see the referee give a fake red card, bro? Come on, man, bro. Come on, man, bro. I think the Jamaican team is always very physical, always at that international level of physicality. They always are rawly talented team. They always have some talents because, of course, Jamaica is well represented in Europe as well. And, of course, is a strong team. I think they're the team to beat in Concacaf when it comes to the Caribbean. Of course, I think they should be beating the likes of Canada and even America. But I don't know what has happened to Jamaica when they come up to Canada and America. It's just like Trinidad is, you know, deal with a lot. But I think when you play with different referees that not in CONCACAF, I think you would find the games against America and Canada vastly different. You know what I mean? For countries like Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, I think it would be a much better game. Yeah. Okay. Cool. In a nutshell, bro, I wouldn't say he killed the football, but he stunted because at some point his good intentions of trying to bring the best talents went on to bringing the talent to just using that network that he knew and he was comfortable with alone. And if it wasn't part of that network, it wasn't getting looked at, and a lot of talent went to waste. So now it's time for someone a new person to come in, and whoever it be, we need to give them a chance. You know what I mean? And not be so attached because we need people to come in and do our job. You know what I mean? Do their best. It's all about performance. Yeah, it's not about emotions. And we like you. It's about your body or work in this current point. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a proper body or work and you're not delivering, then it's time to go. This is how we gotta move with the directors and things because these guys making the decisions that impact not only the now but the future. The coach could only do within the parameters of what guys like this dictate. So don't get it twisted at all, guys. Don't get it twisted at all. One of them, I mean, who cares? Trinidad still have more homegrown talent that play in the Prem than any other Concacaf nation that you could name. People only go to the MLS because it's better than local leagues in the I can't even. Bro, thank you. Thank you for saying that, bro. Your dog in USA, like, what's that? Like, we as Brazil, USA, are Brendan Aronson, he shit. Tyler Adams, shit. Luca Colesho, shit. Chris Richards, Antoine Robinson is a top talent, king. He is a talent. The rest of them, man, I could name a Trini better than them men, bro. Come now, man. Don't be like that now, son. It a Trini's better than them men. 'Cause not one of them men, not even Pulisic, better than Jaden Sancho. And we could claim him. So don't play mad. At all. Joven Jones what? Went on trial to Udinese before we went to Chicago Fire. The recruiters believed he was not complete enough for the league. Who fault is that? Joven? That is Joven's fault. Brother, you don't understand. If you go to a club and you don't get your outside your comfort zone or swallow your fucking pride, yeah, and do what the coaches ask you, and when you start to get understand that they're doing what they want, then add in your little specialness. Then you're wasting time, King. Bro, nobody out there to give you a chance, King. You gotta take it. You understand? And I have to tell you this, broski, Joven Jones by no means is a disciplined fella. Yeah? He is a brother. I'm pretty sure they just give that excuse. But really and truly, he probably was moving a type of way and they didn't like his attitude. Simple. And I can tell you that because I know the brother. He is not calm down, broski. Yeah? Don't make it seem so. Anytime you're a player that don't get a trial, bro. Yeah, listen to what I say. If you get a trial and you don't make it, usually it's your fault. It's not just because you're not good enough. Because if you work hard enough, you will get a chance. It's not that you might get a chance at that club, but they will recommend it to another club. That's how it is work. Scouts, there's use every opportunity they have, to get in good with other clubs. You understand? You might say Sancho is a waste man, but Sancho's still at a level higher than the entire team playing at. Sancho level, bro. I think Spicer will kill to have a season like Sancho had at Dortmund. In Europe, killer. Never play, bro. This man did it. This man for 3 seasons was double double, 20 plus 20 killer. He might have fallen off now, but that 3 years back to back, bro, is bro. It hard to replicate. Uh, which local you think could, bro? I think I think Noah Powder could make it. It have a few talents, bro. Trinidad could probably play in a Burnley team. You know what I mean? Noah Powder and all. You know what I mean? Granted, he was about 2 years younger. He would have been much better for the situation. I still think Spicer and Dante Sealy could level up and go to Europe, bro. I think Spicer could have to try to get himself into a situation where he going to Europe, bro. I think so. For Spicer, I think Spicer game will plateau if he continue to play in the MLS past this season. I think after this season, he need to get to Europe. He need to. Exactly. Did it for 3 seasons. Correct. Local players. Let's see. Local players getting trials and too unprofessional and getting sent back to team. Poor mental 100%. This is not happening now, Marcus. This happening for decades. Charlton Athletic, Swansea, Wimbledon FC. It are certain clubs that scouting from Trinidad is the order of the day, King. Queen's Park Rangers in Trinidad is part of Queen's Park Rangers in England. I want you to understand this. It are men who just go to England on trial regularly from Queen's Park Rangers. Regularly. It's monthly things, bro. Know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sanson. We lost Sancho to England. Trimmer in the Prem. Yeah, Spicer could go off to Europe. No, I mean, even listen, yeah. I think if Phillips dropped 20 pounds, lean down, I think Phillips will be a different bowler, bro. Yeah, but you need to drop some weight. He too top heavy, bro. You can't be so big and want to play football, King, where it's not bodybuilding, dog. It's slowing you down. But you have a decent potential about him. I like him. Yeah, you never know. If he don't get selected for England, he could change. Granny probably hug him up and tell him, son, come on, the TNT. You know what I mean? To be honest, I think three things we need to do as Trinis right now, especially if you love football and you want Trinidad football to improve. One, we need to find ways to make sure that all our coaches and the coaches at these young grassroots clubs getting their certifications. I mean, they could help them out with finding different things online if they don't have the time and it's more expensive to do CONCACAF. They could do it in Europe, guys, online. Certification is certification. You know what I mean? And these guys, they need to upgrade their levels. They need to, they need to have to do nutrition. They need to have proper training. They need to also try to have a physicist or sports therapist to come out at the training sessions, just to check on these youth to make sure nobody not hurt or anything after training sessions and stuff like that. These things need to go. We need to start moving at a different level. If some clubs had to come together, 3 or 4 clubs had to join together you know, to do a better job. This is what we had to do. We need to start to talk to Dortmund Academy to find out their system for training their youths and implement that into the school systems. Trinidad Football TTFA need to dictate now to the coaches of Trinidad who coaching grassroots football on the various styles and formations that they are able to coach because we need to coach 2 or 3 formations that boil right back to what the national team playing. And then we need to start training players who playing in the SSFL at the level of a under 18 or under 21 academy player in Europe. This is the type of training methods need to start be using the same rigors, same strain, same excess. You know what I mean? We need to put these guys through the level of training that we expect them to go out to the world and compete against. And these guys, on top of this, they need to do extras. Because if you want to be the best, you have to work on it constantly. Hopefully, he go end up in Europe, bro. He could also end up stuck in the MLS, just like Jovan Jones was, bro. Just like Kenwin Jones got shipped out to. You know what I mean? Still, he was at PSV, but yeah, we will see. We will see what's going on. What do you think of players not being paid? Do you think they need? Of course, I think they should be paid. You understand? Not everybody playing in Europe and getting a big salary. You know what I mean? So of course guys should get paid, but if you getting a $1 million salary, then you know maybe you could donate some of your salary to the grassroots clubs that give you a start in football and help them level up the next generation. It's always about the next generation. He built his power. He had to be a bodybuilder, bro. Hmm. Experienced enough. Had a few trials at Charlton and stuff. Years and years ago, guys. Years and years. Not going to happen. Not going to happen at SSFL. We need a proper structure league for 17 and under 20. Well, that's what I'm saying. These things in the works, guys. But we'll discuss this in a few streams to come. Of course, there's a lot of things I would like to discuss with you guys, but it's Friday. And of course, I'm in Germany, guys, so it's pretty late. And I'm supposed to be going out and hang out a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? I would love to keep chatting with you guys. Of course, Marcus, looking forward to doing a stream with you, my bro, whenever you have time. Of course, looking forward to do a stream also with a few other guys. You know what I mean? Scully, he doesn't reply to me, bro. I don't think he likes me. Maybe because I trashed AEK Athens a few times, but it is what it is. Hopefully, you guys, you know what I mean? Stay tuned because I'll bring some more updates to you guys. We're going to talk about that under 17 and under 20 league because there's some rumblings of plans of the future and what changes they would bring. And, I've been speaking to some people, I keep saying to you guys, that might be able to influence some things. And I was just saying to them that, Dortmund. Dortmund certainly needs to be allowed into the PFL. They need to be allowed into the SSFL. They need to be allowed into the secondary league. And they need to be allowed into any amateur league that is open, whether it's under 17 or under 20. You know what I mean? And they need to be allowed in in at least two zones, North and Tobago zone or something. Because we need as much competition as we could get. And you could learn from these things. When you start to play against these guys, the league will get more efficient. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they take my advice and try some things. Yeah, it's now 11. Yeah, bro, time to go out and check out the town, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. Some man who failed multiple. Of course, it is the same thing. And this is why I keep telling man them. And it's one of those things, like, guys, it's not about. We can criticize these people, of course. But right now, it's about Trinidad moving forward. It's bigger than just these guys. It's bigger than just that. And especially when it comes, it's something so close to each and every one of us, because the next big talent could be your son, your daughter, your relative, your friend, your neighbor. You know what I mean? So it's time we start looking for solutions. Start driving Trinidad forward with the right ideals and ideas. You know what I mean? When you speak negativity, you bring negativity. When you speak positivity, you bring change, new things, new times. You know what I'm saying? Dry glasser. Bro, I don't like to say dry, bro. Dry is it's so good. It's so good for me, Sagan. You have said a lot of things tonight that is incorrect concerning football in TNT. Well, if you think that way, victory, because I mean, I have my opinions. They might be right, they might be wrong. I mean, like I'm not saying Sancho is a Trini, but you know what I mean. He could qualify based on the fact that he has heritage. At the same time, however, it goes. If you disagree, you could let it know in the chat, bro. Everyone has their opinions. It's always welcomed. Of course, if you want to leave a long message in the chat, I will reply to you in the non-live section. Of course, bro, is no problem anytime. I will have a call-in show this weekend, most likely on Sunday. So if you guys have some time and you want to call in and talk about Trinidad football, if you don't want to turn on the camera, it's fine. You can just call in, have your say how you feel about the current state of status quo of Trinidad football, what you think they could do to improve, what different things could do to change it. But what I can tell you guys, brother, I want you to understand something. I know you're Googling well, but I'm sure Google tell you that Sancho's father was raised in Trinidad and Tobago from since he was 4 years old, basically all his life until he got Sancho, conceived Sancho, and his relationship with the lady who is of English descent, who was raised also in Trinidad and Tobago, left Trinidad and Tobago to go to Europe to have Sancho. So yeah, maybe you should, what I mean, understand. Google White Way if you really want to know who his mother is. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know what White Way is. You know what I mean? You're from the Caribbean, right? Shout outs to you, bro. Guys, I'll catch you all later. He's of Jamaican parentage. I believe his father was working in Trinidad and he was raised in Trinidad. He went to primary school, he went to secondary school, he went to university in Trinidad and Tobago. It's basically Trinidadian, broski. He has a Trinidadian ID, driver's permit, and passport, I think, to be honest. Levi Caldwell is also a talent from Trinidad and Tobago. There's lots, guys. There's talent all over the place. But we'll be talking some more tomorrow, and of course on Sunday with the call-in show. You know what I mean? Trini will talk time. So let me know if you guys have time and come through. It'll probably be around the same time or maybe a bit earlier in the morning time. But we'll see how it goes, guys. Shout outs to you. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. And of course, if you have anything you would like to say, you can post it on my channel in the community posts. You have to be a subscriber, and or you can just post it to the non-live section of this same stream. And of course, I will get back to you and reply. And if you want to send me an email, my email is in the description. Shout out to each and every. Have a good night, guys.